Hi everyone, welcome to tonight's Thursday Night Live. It feels like ages since I've been on, so I hope you're all okay. Once you come on, pop a comment in, let me know you're here and I will see who's joining. And while we get started, we have had some crazy energy this week. Hi Erin. So if you haven't felt the eclipse energy, you are lucky, because it has been crazy. It's literally been a whirlwind of emotions for people, stuff coming up. The eclipse always shines a light on everything. So everything you want to let go of, the eclipse is there to tell you that is what to get let go of. So if you haven't felt this energy, it is crazy. Hi Christina. Yeah, the energy has been mad. Yeah, Erin, it really has. So let's just pull a card just to get ourselves centered and get ourselves thinking, right, what do we want the focus of this call? Because this call is all about our inner critic. So that is exactly what will have been coming up for you, and she'll have been coming out like a bat out of hell. Oh, well, this is a good card for tonight. So make time for self-love. So this one, last quarter moon in Libra, and it really is like the power is in your hands. You have the control to start to change the direction, start to change the way that you think. But it's about just giving yourself that love. So it's about looking at you as a whole entity, looking at you as a whole piece who is incredible and who is amazing and who is here for the most amazing things. So once you can see that power that you have and you start to give yourself that love, that's what really starts to happen. So that's what this card's about. It's just allowing you to finally ignite that spark, to finally give yourself that energy and that love that you need. So that's what this card's about today. It's about looking at you first so that you can then set this bigger vision for yourself. So once you start to do that, it then allows you to expand your energy and expand it out. So I love that card. Very good for the eclipse. So let's see, is there anyone else commenting? So if you haven't listened to the podcast this week, it was all about the experience I had when my inner critic come up. So thinking about, everybody has that inner voice that they battle with all the time. Now, what I will say is, the more you can actually start to acknowledge it and reframe that voice, the better your life will be. But it will never, ever go away. The thing is, if that voice goes away, it's because you are living an extremely dull life. And no one wants that. No one wants vanilla. We want excitement. We want that next level. We want to be growing. We want to be attracting in mass wealth, mass opportunities, mass amazingness. And that is what we want life to feel like. But to do that, we've got to step out that bubble that is our comfort zone. And when we step out that bubble, our ego loves to kick in and tell us all the things that are our worst fears. And it likes to tell you it in a way that it's disguised so that you actually think that you think it. And it's so clever. It's like a little demon inside your head. So we all have it. And what I shared was, obviously, I've just been on this amazing trip to New York, and it was pushing myself out my comfort zone, going and meeting incredible people. And I walked in the first day nervous like anybody would be. But I started to walk in, I started to see these incredible people. I started to see what they were wearing. I started to think, I'm not dressed up enough. I don't look right. And then it come out of nowhere, just this voice saying, you are too fat to be in this room. Like, really? Like, your inner critic and mine is an absolute bitch. I am not going to lie. But yeah, them words were coming out of my head. They were literally on swirl, like, you're too fat, you're too fat. And I had to really get myself together and think, right, one, is it true? And whether it was or not, it didn't matter. So you've got to look at, how these thoughts are blocking you. And you've got to start to acknowledge them, that they're actually not true. We don't have to think every thought that we don't have to believe every thought that we think. It just doesn't have to happen. Some thoughts pop in your head so random that you just don't even know where they come from. So you don't have to believe every single thing that you think. So you've got to start getting control of these thoughts. Hi, Camille. As soon as they come in. Because once these thoughts start to take hold and you start to attach to them, you start to attach a meaning, you start to attach an emotion, it takes on a life of its own. And that's when it stops you moving forward. That's when it holds you back in your comfort zone, in the place where, unfortunately, your inner critic will make you feel bad and it won't be nice to you because it'll want you to stay small. It doesn't want you to go and shine. It doesn't want you to go and do all these amazing things. Because if it does that, then the ego doesn't exist in the same right. It's literally fighting for its life and it will do everything it can to keep you in that comfort zone. So you've got to start getting cleverer. You've got to start understanding that it is your ego that's talking to you. It's not you. It's not your higher mind. It's not your intuition. It is your ego. It is that nasty inner critic. And what it means is that you are actually on the point of doing something good. If your inner critic's coming up, it means that there's something good that you are leaning towards or thinking about, and it's actually gonna take you somewhere good. And the inner critic knows this. It's like, oh my God, she can't shine that much, or he can't shine that much. It literally goes into panic mode. So it'll do anything and everything it can to keep you where you are. So you've got to start working through the process to start eliminating this inner critic and this ego keeping you stuck. Because the quicker you can move through this and the quicker you can bounce back and get back into alignment and think, I am worthy, I am deserving, I am heading on this path, you can move forward quicker. You can quantum leap from where you are now to where you want to be. But we've got to get control of our mind. We've got to start thinking, how does this work? How do I get back on track? How do I remember that I am divine source energy and I am connected with everything? So how do you remember that quickly? And I give you 3 steps in the podcast, so make sure you go and listen to them, but I'll repeat them tonight because repetition is key as well. The more you hear stuff, the more it sinks in. So this is the best lesson. Just keep going back and hearing it again and again. So what the first one is, once you have that thought, you've got to neutralize it. We've got to take the charge out of it. We've got to stop it having that electricity that is keeping you stuck. So we've got to start to say, you know, we're not responsible for every thought we think. We're not. Sometimes thoughts come in your head. There is absolutely no rhyme or reason for it. So what you've got to do is start to believe that. Start to believe that there was no reason for you to think that thought. There was no truth behind it. Don't give it any judgment. Don't do anything like that. Just start to let it go. Just start to say, I don't even know why I've thought that. Just let it go. So you could imagine it actually floating away on a cloud. You know, that thought's come in, you don't know why, but just let it go. You don't need to attach anything to the thought, and that's what takes the charge out of it. As soon as you attach an emotion or a feeling or another thought, suddenly it becomes something bigger. So we don't want that. We don't want to set it off like a firework. We just want to let it go. So just do that first. Just think, I don't need to believe every thought. And then recalibrate and reassess. So you cannot physically believe everything you think. You just can't. Some of the things you think are so weird and crazy and you would never ever say them out loud, that you would never ever believe everything you think. So why are you choosing to believe that one? That's a question for you. Why do we choose to believe the ones that we choose to believe? Because we don't believe everything we think. Some things pop in and you're like, oh, that was weird. I don't know where that come from. So stop choosing to believe these thoughts. And you do not have to believe everything. So start to reassess it. Start to think, actually, yes, it's come in. I don't blame myself for thinking it. I don't judge myself for thinking it. and I don't have to believe it. I just don't. So I'm not choosing to believe that today. I am not choosing to believe that thought anymore. Even if I have for my whole life, even if you felt that you were not good enough your whole entire life, from today, you do not have to choose to believe that thought. It doesn't have to be something you hold on to. We can choose not to believe something. And if we repeat something enough and enough, it takes hold. We don't always have to believe it. So start to think, that was the old me. I'm stepping into this higher energy. I don't believe thoughts like that anymore. They're not for me. That's my old me shifting out. I don't need it now. And then the third step, activate. So activate a new thought. What do you need to believe in this moment to be your best self? That is an empowering thought that you could think, and suddenly you open the doors to new thoughts, higher vibrational thoughts to come in. So what do you need to believe in this moment to be your best self? So when I was in the conference at New York, my inner critic was telling me I was too fat to be there. I had to stop myself and think, well, I don't believe that. I belong in that room. And my next best thought was, this is an incredible opportunity and I am going to bring my energy to this room. No one cares about what I look like, what my size is. It's all about my energy. And that was the thought that stepped me into my higher self. That was a thought that allowed me to be me, regardless of how self-conscious I was about anything else. It allowed me to bring my energy, my essence, my personality. It allowed me to bring that out of me. So by thinking that higher thought and stepping into what is it I need to believe now to be my best self, allowed me to enter that room with energy. And that is so powerful. Nobody remembers what you were wearing. Nobody remembers what your hair looked like. Nobody remembers anything like that about you. Everybody always remembers the people with good energy or the people with bad energy. You walk into a room, you feel it from other people. You know who you like instantly, you know who you don't. So you start to understand and walk in with your essence. And if you're listening to your head, you can't do that. You can't bring the best self out. So start to think about your energy and how it plays out and how you can really activate this new thought to think, what do I need to think in this moment to be my best self? And it doesn't matter what you're facing, you will always get the answer. So then you can have these things like, I belong. These are my people. Everybody loves me. Whatever it is for you that you need to keep telling yourself on repeat so that you can start stepping through this comfort zone and you can start getting to this other point that you need to get to. Because we need to start to reframe thoughts, but also we need to not judge ourselves for thinking them. That's the worst thing. Sometimes we're our own worst critic and that comes in and then we get mad at ourselves for thinking the thought in the first place. And it's okay. We might have thought them thoughts for a long, long time and they're hard to get rid of. So give yourself some grace, give yourself some credit and just say that's okay. I'm sorry you used to feel like that, but we're moving through it. We're not going to feel like that anymore. Talk to your ego, soothe your ego. Let it know that you're there for it, but let it know that it's coming on a new journey and it needs to catch up. Because you've got big places to go, you've got impact to make, you've got people to help. And it is about stepping through that energy to be able to do that. So like this card says, it's about making time for self-love and it's about giving yourself that love. So it really is important that you start to do this. So I'm just going to check on the comments. That card could not have been more perfect for what I needed reminded of. Yeah, Casey, I agree. Agreed, she needs to step off. Yeah. So, everybody, we all think as well that, it's only happening to us. It's only us that's battling this. But as a mindset coach, I know that everyone is constantly battling this, but I also know what it takes to get through it. I also know what it takes to quantum leap to where you want to be. And if you want to start making huge changes in your life and you want to do it quickly, and you've got them big dreams that you think they're so scary, but I know I need to go for them, then you need to start getting in control of your mind. You need to start understanding the difference between your ego and your higher mind. You need to start listening to that energy. You need to start bringing it in. You need to start giving yourself a bit of quiet time. That's what this card's about as well. Listening to what's going on. Listening to our next step. We often get so caught up in our heads that we think, I don't know the next step, it's not coming through, it's not coming through. Well, are you giving the thought space? Because the next step, your divine next step, your inspired action comes from the divine matrix. It channels through you, through your higher mind. It channels through from the energy in the universe, it channels into your higher mind. So if you are not letting yourself be quiet and listen, you are never going to hear those divine gifts, those divine next steps, that intuitive hit. You are just not giving yourself the space to feel that higher essence. So if you're in that space and you are stuck and you need clarity, you've got to start getting quiet. You've got to start shutting off your ego. You've got to start shutting off your mind. And there is ways to do that. Now, if anybody needs help, there is the Frustrated to Zen program, which totally walks you through it week by week, how to shut your mind down, how to stop yourself getting caught up in that inner thinking, and how to let their messages through. And ultimately, by the end of the 4 weeks, you walk out that course with a true vision of where you want to be as well. So you've not only learned to control your mind, let go of your emotions that are getting stuck in your body and shift your vibration, but you're also coming out with clarity and vision. So if that's what you need, go and check that out. There'll be links all over. I'm sure Christina's on it, putting a link in the comments as well. But that type of thing will start to let your higher mind, your intuitive mind, whatever you want to call it, your higher self, that version of you that has that knowing, that one is the one that needs to run the show. That is the one that I listen to when I make big, scary decisions. I don't plan things. I don't work them out. I don't calculate them. I tap in and I go, what would my higher mind do? Because your higher mind is connected to everything and it knows the steps to get you to your desires. It knows what you need to do. You don't need to Google it. You don't need to have thought things through. Your higher mind has the answers. So you've got to start listening to it. So the way to do that is to tame the inner critic. So it's so important. One, it completely retrains your brain. And another, it just calms yourself. It gets rid of the anxiety. You imagine you're getting bullied in work or school or whatever it is. You feel that feeling of getting bullied. That is what's happening inside your head when you let the inner critic win. When you don't take control and think this is down to me to take control of. That is you letting a bully inside your head. That is you letting somebody treat you badly inside your own head. And that can be changed. You can start to work with your ego to say nicer things so that it's not actually as scary as what it was. So really, please listen to this episode this week. Go and listen to the podcast and start working on your own process. Start to acknowledge the thoughts. And if you're acknowledging them now and not doing anything, then that's when you can put these added steps in and start to do something. Start to do more with it. Because once you start to retrain your brain, that is when you open up to so much more. Everything starts to align because you start to follow the intuitive hits. You start to follow that guidance that comes through so much more easily. So if you're thinking I'm being meditating and I'm not getting any answers, or I struggle to shut down my brain, then you've got to do this practice. You've got to start doing it. So Christina's put the Abundance Accelerator in. But Christina, will you pop me a link for the Frustrated to Zen in as well? Because the Frustrated to Zen one is perfect for people trying to shut down their inner critic and learn to listen to their inner voice. That is the one that shuts out all the noise, shuts out all the chatter, and it really does walk you through a process to train your brain over a 4-week period to get you calm, to get you centered, to get you balanced, and it really does connect you with your higher voice. So please, I recommend absolutely everyone, as a bare minimum, doing that program, because it is a game changer. If you do that every day for 4 weeks, you literally are going to come out the other side feeling free, feeling like a massive weight off your shoulder, feeling so much gratitude. Honestly, you are going to come out with that 4-week course, so much clarity, so much peace, so much centered, aligned feeling. It's going to be incredible. So please go and check that one out. It just helps you control these thoughts that are coming up. Hi, Val. Which is really, really key. And the thing between anybody moving forward fast or moving forward slowly is mindset. It really is. So you think about mindset and you think about what that is. So what you think is what you say. So imagine that. So what you think, if you're not taking control of your inner critic, that is then what you end up saying to yourself. And then what you say is what you end up doing. So if you want to change your life and you want to change things round, then you have to get control of your mind. You have to start thinking more positive thoughts. You have to start changing things, reassessing things, soothing the ego when it starts to show up and telling it that it's going to be okay, because all it's trying to do is keep you in your comfort zone. It really is. So you've got to start changing this round, because mindset is broken down into what you think is what you say, and then what you say is what you do. So if your actions and the things around you aren't aligning the way that you want, you've got to go back to your thought pattern. You've got to go back to the way that you're thinking, the way that you're talking to yourself internally. So make sure you go into Manifesting Straight Talk podcast this week and go and listen to that podcast episode on how your inner critic shows up and how to start taming it. It will help you so much. So has anybody got any questions before we finish tonight? Anything coming up on either Facebook or Instagram? I'm here to answer both. And any questions about what's happening? Obviously, I've mentioned tonight that there's the Frustrated to Zen course. Now that one takes you through the 4 weeks to calm your mind, get you in touch with your intuition, let you hear that higher mind's voice. That is what that's all about. But exciting news, we have the next round opening for the boot camp. The Soul Aligned Business Bootcamp is starting again in June. So if you're not on my email list, make sure you get on my email list, because there's going to be a special pre-sale starting next week, and that'll be going, and then there'll be the live launch coming in June, and I'm super excited about that. It's been the most incredible 6 weeks with the girls who's been through it, and I can't wait to launch it again. It's just been the best experience. So there'll be more coming on that, but any questions at all on anything, just let me know. Obviously, what I would say is, the inner critic comes up for everybody. It literally, you're not alone in thinking weird thoughts or thinking bad thoughts about yourself or putting yourself down. But the thing is, you can start to change it. And we always have that choice whether we listen to it. Now, for me, if I'd have listened to it, my whole experience when I went to New York would have been tarnished by what my mind was saying. My mind, when I walked into that room and it was scary and I didn't know anyone and I knew it was a big leap, I literally walked in and my inner critic was being horrible, telling me I was too fat to be there. And literally, if I'd have started to listen to that, I'd have ruined the whole experience. So I had to recalibrate it. I had to think, what did I need to know then? What did I need to believe to be my best self? And that is the thought I started putting on repeat. And I had the most incredible experience. So you go into these places where you could literally, it could go one way or the other depending on how we tame our inner critic. But what I would say is we never want it totally to go away, because if it goes away, it means that we're living a boring life. No one wants to live a boring life. We want to keep stretching, we want to keep growing, we want it to keep opening doors, being exciting. So we need that inner critic to show us that we're growing. We need it to show us that, it's getting a little bit scary in here, come back to the comfort zone. And that's when we're like, no, we're not living in our comfort zone anymore. We're going for big dreams. We're going for big impact. We are making changes in this life. So please, never wish it to go away, because it just means that you're being a bit boring, and no one wants that. No one wants a vanilla life, do we? We want excitement. We want fun. We want next level rising. We want the next up level that is coming. So to do that, we've just got to start pushing through these boundaries and pushing through these walls that aren't even true. They're not true. They're like fake walls, fake glass ceilings. We're smashing through them and we're getting to that next level. So I'll just check if there's any hi Paula, any questions before I finish off. But Christine has popped all of the links in the Facebook group. If anybody's watching on Instagram as well, I've got the Manifesting Straight Talk Facebook group. If you want to come and join that, I'd love to see you in there. And as well, there's loads of links in the bio. So I've mentioned tonight about the Frustrated to Zen program to calm your mind and help you work through that inner critic. But also there's loads going to be happening. So make sure you sign up for the email list, and you can keep posted on what's happening in my world and what's going on with Manifesting Straight Talk. There's going to be loads of exciting things coming, and I keep you posted on email all the time. But if anybody wants to join that Facebook group, just go ahead, come and join it. And any questions on Facebook or on Instagram, just post them anyway. I'll go back to the replays, and I'll keep up to date with what's happening so that we can start to answer any questions that people have, because I know this one is important. I know people struggle with inner critic, and it is so hard. We had at the conference I was at, Amy Porterfield was one of the guest speakers, and she's amazing. She's a £70 million business owner. She is rocking it. But even her admitted the imposter syndrome that she feels sometimes, and she was very vulnerable about it, and very honest and very open. So it never goes away. But what we've got to work on is bouncing back quicker. That's what successful people do. They just bounce back. They don't wallow in it for months on end. They get to the point where they could bounce back very, very quickly. And that's what we've got to do. We've got to stop them thoughts and remember that we are divine and our desires want us more. So we've got to start getting this in. We've got to start remembering that your desires want you more. So we've just got to get ourselves out the way and let them happen, because they're all there for us. They're all waiting. And I'll just check for questions. No vanilla life there, Paula. Yes, love that. Right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. Hi, Joanne. Catch the replay. Anyone who's watching, say hi. I'll go back and watch the comments, and I can't wait to see you soon. So that's me done for tonight, but have an amazing night, and I will catch you next time. Bye.